ESPN's presentation of the Hooters Hula Bowl is being brought to you by naturally fresh salad dressing, sauces, and dips. 100% natural, 100% delicious. Well, it's a Chamber of Commerce day here in the Honolulu area. Temperature in the 80s, the wind 15 to 25 miles an hour, and the forecast mostly sunny, as it always is. Hi, everybody. Ron Franklin along with Mel Kiper and Gary Danielson. 50 years ago, a gentleman by the name of Maki Yanagisawa started the Hula Bowl. It's still going strong today, the Hooters Hula Bowl. Gentlemen, this game is a little different. You got all Americans that we all know, but you also have kids from small schools, plus the fact they allow some of the juniors who have declared to play in this one. Gary, let me start with you. Who has caught your eye this week?
Well, you know, first of all, our waitress the first night. But I mean, football-wise, I was at a couple practices. Marvin Harrison, it's a receiver draft. I think that's the strength of the draft, and we've got a couple of them. You said big schools. Marvin Harrison from Syracuse has the speed and the playmaking ability to make people miss. After he catches the ball, he's got the whole package. And in the small schools, Alex Van Dyke. I mean, he's got gaudy stats. You're looking at him right there. But when you see the guy up close, can he match up? Absolutely. Great size. He's had a great week. Now can he do it in the game?
Gentlemen, the thing also that happens right now, it's almost the end of the semester. It is telling time, nervous phone calls, nervous non-sleep nights, particularly for the kids that are not going to be first, second, or third round picks. What goes from here, Mel?
Well, it's the last game, the last tune-up, and of course some of the top kids didn't even participate in any all-star games. Guys like Keyshawn Johnson, Kevin Hardy, Jonathan Ogden. After this, you have the combine workout in early February. Those intense individual workouts follow that lead you up to April 20th, which is draft day 96.
Well, we have a fourth person on this telecast. Chris Fowler is down on the sideline to be close to his friend, the coach of the West team, Mr. Corso, and to bring us up to date on what's going on down there. Chris, let's go to you.
Ron, thank you. I'll do my best to keep Coach Corso calm on the sidelines. One thing these All-Star games can provide is foreshadowing. In last year's game, we saw Cordell Stewart impress the scouts with his ability to play quarterback during the week in practice. Once he got into the game, though, he took Coach Gottfried's carefully constructed game plan and he just chucked it. And he won the game for the East and MVP honors for himself with the same kind of raw, athletic, creative plays that he provided the Steelers and helped them to the Super Bowl this year. Now, he doesn't have the same kind of skills as Cordell Stewart, but the quarterback to keep an eye on today, John Stark. He also has something to prove. This is his first and last career start against Division 1A competition. He transferred away from Florida State to Trinity, so he's got something to prove. On the defensive side of the ball last year, well, the foreshadowing was provided by Hugh Douglas. He came out of Central State in Ohio. He'd never played against big-time competition. He did in this game, and he ate it alive. We saw that continue into his rookie season, the rookie sack leader for the New York Jets. These games can often belong to pass rushers, and a guy who was impressed all week long is the junior from Oklahoma State, Javon Langford. He's got a point to prove. Keep an eye on him today. They don't allow blitzing, so the defensive linemen have to get to the quarterback. One other factor, guys, it is hot, it is steamy down here. These teams have less than ideal depth. It's going to be a factor. Ron?
Chris, I think you're right. I think some folks are going to have to play that maybe you're not prepared to go quite as long. Mike Gottfried, coach of the East, and of course former head coach at Pitt, also at Kansas and at Cincinnati, and across the way, Lee Corso. We asked the waitresses at breakfast this morning, please make sure his coffee is decaf.
And he's 0-1 in this series too, right?
I mean, this guy is wound tight as you can be, as Neil Voskerichian of Colorado teased the ball at the 35. There are some special rules in this game that we'll go over as the game goes along. But as Chris alluded to, there is no blitzing in this game. You can't use motion with your wide receivers and some other things that we'll address as Alex Van Dyke is back deep for the West team. And here's the kick. Going to come down to Hardy at the 18, stopped at the 19-yard line. So it's a 5-yard return, and here are the starters. First of all, for the West, Damon Heward out of Washington at quarterback, L.T. Levine of Kansas, and Detron Smith of the Texas Aggies in the backfield. Muhammad, Van Dyke, and Conwell are the receivers. Ernie, the big fellow who also was a long snapper out of Washington. And up front, the offensive line, Finch, T.J. Gaynor, Rob Johnson of Northwestern, Jeremy Hogue of Southern Cal, and Bivens of Alcorn State. First play, and there was a hint that we might see an up on this very first play. Levine will carry. Actually, I've given away game plan for the other club. Defense, let's take a look at the starters. Javon Langford, who we talked about. Trent Zinkowitz out of Michigan. James Manley and Cedric Jones, the down four. Here are the linebackers. Killens, Terry had a great year for Penn State, Phil Ellis in Nebraska, and Campos, who has garnered a lot of attention this week at linebacker out of Louisville. Then in the secondary, it's T.J. Cunningham, Colorado, Tyrone Williams, Nebraska, Donnell Liamidi of Colorado at strong safety, and Tony Beelan of the Nebraska Cornhuskers, and that rounds out the secondary. Looking again, and he will take it close to the 25-yard line, and that will be the end of the way as Philip Ellis out of Nebraska comes up to make the hit on him.
Well, in any of these all-star games, Ron, you understand that there's not a lot of practicing done to begin with. And I think of the two teams, there's no doubt Lee Corso's team has put in extra meeting time and practice time. And I think one of the reasons he wanted to do that is he has to be able to run the ball. He does not have the best blocking outside tackles, so he's going to have to do it on the ground just a bit to be able to move the ball.
Lee's going to break his quarterbacks down today, 10 plays each, and then they'll see what happens. Swings this one out to Levine, makes the good catch, and then a nice open field tackle. Alan Campos of Louisville comes over to make the hit, and it will be 1, 2, 3, and out for the West offense.
And it was a safe throw, maybe too safe of a throw that time, and Campos was just sitting in his zone, or if he was playing man-to-man, he was dropping deep enough and making that back catch the ball in the flat. And Campos is a guy, when you watch all the practice, you see how well he runs. He runs almost like a strong safety and a very sure tackler.
Well, you see Tulsa on the side of his helmet. Mark Delosier, 71 yards, his longest this year, an average of almost 42 per kick. And this one is returnable from the 38. Wow. Clarence Matthews hit as soon as he catches the football. 38 yards in the kick and nothing on the return. So here are the starters for the East. John Stark at quarterback, Winslow Oliver of New Mexico at tailback, and Brian Milne is the fullback. Harrison, Scott, and Tucker, the receivers, and up front the offensive line. Odom, Irwin, Stoltenberg, Purdy, and Hills. And now here's the up we're looking for.
And Marvin Harrison might be the active wide receiver on this one, although Freddie Scott looked good in practice catching a couple bounds.
Here's a look at Marvin right there. Yep, there's the play action. They got good protection. Going to go on top. And he's there. And caught it and dropped it at the 10-yard line.
Marvin Harrison clearly had the corner beat that time, but John Stark, who has great confidence in his arm, and sometimes that can be your worst enemy, as you see Harrison take the inside track. This ball was thrown about a half a second late. Marvin Harrison, when the ball gets down 50 yards downfield, he's going to outrun the football in those types of things. That ball has to be thrown about 45 to 55 yards, and Stark has to learn the type of speed he's playing. You see Harrison let it go earlier.
Cedric Anderson of Tulane is the man who had the cover, and I'm sure Cedric is thinking, guys, let's don't do that 40 more times in this game. It's too high. Shovel pass. He's going to have the first down, and he'll step out of bounds at the 50-yard line. Here are the starters for the East on defense. Jason White, John Ross, Stephen Huffman, and Reagan Upshaw. Keep an eye on Upshaw. He really is impressed this week. Stanley Ross, twin brother. At strong side linebacker, Zach Thomas in the middle out of Texas Tech. LaCurtis Jones of Baylor. He has attracted a lot of attention. Dowers, Lawrence, Coleman, and Cedric Anderson, who made that play just a moment ago. First down from the 50-yard line, and from the shotgun formation this time, Stark zings it over the middle. That's Roach, his tight end, who was out of San Jose State. And he will be tackled at the 34-yard line by Zach Thomas.
Roach had his hamstring wrapped in the beginning of the week. Didn't participate in practice Tuesday or Wednesday. Very light drills there for Brian Roach, but he really came on strong late in the week. It's a good feel off the line of scrimmage. Outstanding hands. He was an outstanding pass receiving tight end throughout his career the last 2 seasons at San Jose State. He needs a big game today after struggling with that hamstring in practice.
Don't you think that having a coach like John Ralston and his pro experience also helped him, Mel?
Oh, no question.
This running play almost for the first down to the 25 as Thomas puts the stop on Winslow Oliver.
He's got a great battle at left tackle and the right defensive end with Jason Odom from Florida. He has had a tremendous week of practice. He has probably impressed the NFL scouts as much as anybody. And, of course, Reagan Upshaw, the outstanding right defensive end, weighed in as a chiseled 215-pounder early in the week. That's going to be a heck of a battle.
Well, you can see the back of number 30. That's Clarence Matthews, who was coming to the game. Clarence is one of those juniors who declared early. Northwestern State, of course, of Louisiana. Zings the pass. Harrison of Syracuse leaps and makes the catch. He's down to the 14. And here's Anderson with the tackle.
Talking about Jason Odom and Reagan Upshaw, the matchup that is probably the premier matchup that you can watch. Two guys that obviously have the potential and ability to be early draft choice. And then the guy on the outside, that's what they call a smash route to the outside. It's a combination route. A wide receiver will go down the field and hold up about 5 yards, and then the inside receiver, either the halfback or the tight end, will go to the flag. Very simple throw to get the quarterback started.
Quentin Childs, number 26 of Nebraska, checks in, but this is Brian Milne at Penn State, and Milne will take it down to the 10-yard line. It's going to be a gain of 5 as Stanley Ross makes the tackle.
Number 15, Stanley Ross.
In order to handle a pass rusher, you have to run draws at him. Mike Godfrey very aware of that. Give Odom a chance, and that's a nice job by Odom that time, taking Upshaw's spin and just using his body almost like a karate or a judo guy. Use his type of momentum against him in that play and picks up a positive play. Now this was scheduled to be a halfback pass. Let's see if they call it in this type of situation. No, it's not going to go.
Bounces to the outside at the 5. Did he get in? Touchdown. Winslow Oliver of New Mexico. And give credit to Brian Milne of Penn State with the lead and paving block.
Yeah, Kajana Carter will let you know that if you foul Brian Milne, you got a pretty good chance of no sweeps.
So the Lobo, Winslow Oliver, who scored 4 touchdowns this year, rushed for 915 yards, makes the corner. Marcus Coleman of Texas Tech trying desperately to keep him out of the end zone, but he could not. Dane Pruitt out of Miami to attempt the extra point, and he's got it. So Mike Gottfried's East team jumps on top by a count of 7-0. Let's take a break. We'll be back with more from Honolulu after this.
Start with a fabulous hotel on Waikiki's best beach. Now add one of the largest swimming pools in paradise. Fine dining and the best entertainment, and service that defines the spirit of aloha. What do you have? More value for your vacation dollars than any other Hawaii resort. Welcome to Hilton Hawaiian Village. Paradise is closer than you realize, and much more affordable than you think. Call your professional travel agent or 1-800-HILTONS.
Earn their wings every day.
Hooters, it's not just a restaurant, it's an adventure.
Only one car company offers 2 front airbags and the 2 side impact airbags, standard on every new car. Now, who might that be? Mercedes? BMW? Lexus? Acura? That wasn't too difficult, was it? Drive safely.
ESPN's presentation of the Hooters Hula Bowl is being brought to you by Hooters Restaurants, delightfully tacky yet unrefined. And by Volvo. Volvo reminds you to drive safely.
Go right to the 545 speed out, and then the ace sprint. So we're right on schedule. What we wanted to do right there. We've worked those tackles. Now we've helped you guys get them hit underneath.
Gary, he's making the point that you were making just a moment ago. We've worked those tackles, and they've been very good for you.
And that's what you have to do, because he realized from the experience from last year in this game, that's where the rush is going to come, and you have to control them the whole game with different plays run right at them. Not much different in the NFL, really.
From the 2-yard line, Hardy. And he's going to be stopped at the 24-yard line. 22 yards on the return.
I think what Lee wants to do here with Damon Heward is getting a completion, Gary, getting some confidence. This week I thought he was pressing in practice. had tendency to overthrow a lot of passes, a lot of completions that were there. He pressed and the ball went sailing over the receiver's head. I think Damon, if he settles down, he got that first completion on the screen, the dish off basically to L.T. Levine,
Right.
and now I think he's into the game, into the flow.
Well, and quarterbacks realize how important these games are. You're the center of attention, and if you have a decent game, you know, people notice, obviously.
L.T. Levine, no place to go. Alan Campos, the first man there, and also Javon Langford was there just fouling up everything and just making the play go where it was not designed to go.
Well, Campos and Langford, Campos just knows one speed. He's playing the same way as if this was playing against Kentucky or somebody. He's ready to go. Langford understands, believe me, as we did in the Open, what a Hugh Douglas type game can mean for him.
Yep, can be a very, very profitable afternoon. So Javon goes out. Bringing the extra, moves it back. The pass in the flat is caught. Nice job by Don Blair, who we saw last week in the East-West Shrine game in Palo Alto. He is out of Canada and said to be probably the most exciting player that they've had up there.
Good football player. You know, he worked in the bobsled throughout his career there, got his speed down from 4.9 to 4.35. If the West has something they can hang their hat on, is the ability of those wideouts. They have Van Dyke, Muhammad, and Blair, three outstanding wideouts.
Bobsled got him from 4.9 to 4.35.
Strength coach and a track coach.
You're going to have guys moving up to Calgary right now.
Stewart with the play action. Deep over the middle. He's got Van Dyke at the 34-yard line. Alex Van Dyke covered by Tony Veland on the play.
You would think with a lot of man-to-man coverage, play-action passes wouldn't work as well, but they still get that linebacker's eyes just for a second, keeping them off those deep crossing routes. One step forward by Campos, number 59, on the right side of your screen, and there's that big open space, a lot of green, and you know that's almost pitch and catch as if the practice was out there right there, and Van Dyke with such a big body rolls in front of it and makes the catch.
Stewart, good protection. On top for Blair. Can't get it. Tyrone Williams had the cover on him. Gary thought it was interesting. Last week we were given the note at the East-West Shrine game that Blair's teammates were gathered at an establishment up in Canada watching his ball game.
Yeah, well, you know, it's either watch hockey or watch Canadian guys play in the U.S. There you see the fade and going to the outside and the cutoff by the corner, and it's exactly what you have to do. If you turn around, cut the man off with your hip, it's almost like blocking out in basketball, and you can just run the guy out and you can almost interfere with him.
Sings it out of the backfield, and L.T. Levine is tracked immediately just inside the 30-yard line, and it's Alan Campos. We have them unofficially with 4 tackles already in this ball game.
Earlier in the week, Ron, Campos' pads came late. He was out there practicing without pads flying around the field. He was one of George Perlis' favorite from the get-go, and I'll tell you, he's helped himself. That speed and athletic ability, and I think the fire this kid plays with is going to move him into the 3rd round.
By the way, the rule, you have to run zone until you get inside the 20-yard line. 3rd down, line to make is the 24. Stewart threw it behind him. Hayward Clay of Texas A&M is who he was looking for down inside the 20-yard line, but he was off the mark. And Marshall Young from UTEP's coming on for a field goal attempt.
Yeah, Damon just rushed that throw a little bit. He just anticipated the pressure before it was going to get there, and he just threw it in a spot that, you know, you even throw a perfect pass, it's not going to be caught as a quarterback, and that's when you have to come off the first guy and be patient enough to look for that second one. Problem is, it takes you maybe 8 or 10 years to learn that kind of stuff at a speed level a notch above what he's used to, maybe.
So the field goal attempt, this is a 47-yarder by Young.
Wonder if they got the block on like last year.
Ball is down. Does he have the distance? Not quite. Just missed it by about a yard. So there's a timeout on the field. 7-0 East on top, and we'll be right back.
Only one car company offers 2 front airbags and 2 side impact airbags, standard on every new car. Now, who might that be? Mercedes? BMW? Lexus? Acura? Now, that wasn't too difficult, was it?
McDonald's presents future Olympic hopefuls, Carlos Tapia Ruano and his innovative soccer style. Uda Grunewald, whose backstroke could stun the world. The powerful Nozowitzki, weightlifting. Kelly Peterson, equestrian events. Bob Watson, rings. And Jacques Bouclé, a natural for discus. McDonald's is proud to sponsor today's U.S. Olympic team and to keep the dream alive for tomorrow's hopefuls.
Okay, question. What's orange and put something back in the community? Close. It's Hooterade, the new sports drink from Hooters. It quenches your thirst and puts back what your body needs. Hooterade is available at Hooters and other smart retailers. And best of all, proceeds from the sale of Hooterade go to local charities like the Juvenile Diabetes Foundation. Hooterade, it puts something back.
Mike Gottfried on the sideline, and he said he was on schedule, Gary, so let's see if a halfback pass does come up.
Actually, and I spoke to you a little bit when we were talking, I think it was scheduled to be a receiver pass, and it does not look like they're lined up that way.
Okay, Ingoli, I'm told, is the one who throws it. Yes. Pass to the near sideline, Marvin Harrison on the receiving end, pushed out of bounds at around the 35-yard line.
We're talking about Jason Odom being a great player. He's lined up with a player who a lot of people think is, he's a great athlete for an offensive guard. Heath Irwin from Colorado, 6'5", 280. And, Mel, I don't know if this counts, but at Colorado when they're testing, he ran 2 miles in just over 12 minutes. I mean, a guy 285 pounds that has that kind of stamina.
That's unbelievable.
It is unbelievable.
His dad played there. His dad was an outstanding linebacker, and, of course, his uncle is Hale Irwin. Backfield, there is nothing for Winslow Oliver.
I think that was John Ross that time coming in there and beating the block and just messing that up before it got started.
Both of the Rosses, Stanley and John, coming through. Young men born in Tonga. We have a player shaken up. It looks as though one of the East defensive players is down.
I believe it.
Yeah, it is. It's one of the West.
Yes.
Yep, beg your pardon. Well, while we got a break in the action, ESPN Bud Light Big Monday tips off tomorrow night, 7:30 with a Big East matchup, St. John's against Seton Hall. Then at 9:30, Oklahoma against number 4 Kansas, and those two outstanding guards in Haas and Jacques Vaughn. And then at midnight, it is Long Beach State against New Mexico State, all tomorrow on Big Monday, presented by Bud Light. St. John's, Seton Hall, Oklahoma, Kansas, and Long Beach State against New Mexico State. Folly is the man who was injured out of Brigham Young. Pressure, got to be hit from behind, and it's Jason White of Stanford, the other member of the defensive end group here for the West defense, and he's there to stop him for a 6-yard loss.
Yeah, he ran right around the outside that time, and Stark just did not feel that pressure and step up. And Mel, I got to figure that's going to be the toughest thing for Stark, is to get the feel of the different tempo of these type of players.
And get his reads down and make good decisions and look off people. I think that's what people will be looking at today in terms of the NFL scouts that are here. He showed a great arm, a live arm, but I think just the feel for the passing game and the level of competition factor is what people are looking for.
And talking all week, you said that he has the potential to be, at least he has the body and all the mechanics to be a NFL quarterback. It's whether he can do the little things, I guess, now.
Milanovic is the punter, and this comes down to Jones. Boy, coverage very good on the special teams. 43 yards and a kick, and it's Alan Campos again.
Campos didn't come here to party and hit the waves, did he?
So let's take a timeout. 7-0. East on top. We'll be right back.
It's Truck Month, and your Rocky Mountain Ford dealer is out to beat all truck sales records. With a special allocation of F-Series with air at no extra charge, and Broncos with 2.9 financing or $2,000 cash back. Choose a regular cab F-Series and get no charge air at $806 value. Get 2.9 financing or $2,000 cash back on Bronco. All truck sales records will be broken during Truck Month with big savings on F-Series and Bronco. See your Rocky Mountain Ford dealer now.
You search for the scent of your prey, and then you hunt them down.
It keeps me sharp where I gotta be. In a world where violence is wholesale,
the bank is worth the risk.
You're up.
there's a saga waiting to unfold.
If I'm there and I gotta put you away, you are going down. You will not get in my way for a second.
Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, Val Kilmer. Heat, rated R. Now playing at a theater near you. Big Monday means big-time rivalries. First at 7:30, the Johnnies cross the river to tackle the Hall in the Meadowlands. Then at 9:30, Ryan Miner takes his Sooner Roadshow into Lawrence to battle the Jayhawks. St. John's, Seton Hall at 7:30. Oklahoma, Kansas at 9:30. Big Monday presented by Bud Light. Tomorrow on ESPN.
Well, it wasn't all X's and O's this week during the Hula Bowl festivities. The Hooters girls dropped by to spice up the annual Hula Bowl Beach Bash. And then players and coaches went at it in volleyball. It was fun in the sun on Waikiki. Ron Frankel along with Mel Kiper, Gary Danielson, Chris Fowler down on the sidelines. 7-0 our score. The East team on top, and we have just over 6 minutes to play in this opening quarter. And Mark Williams from Kansas has come in at quarterback. Had an outstanding year as you look at his numbers, and led his team to a very impressive win right here in this stadium against UCLA.
Yeah, the Aloha Bowl, and for the season he completed over 60% of his passes, and I just have a feeling he's going to have a big day because of his scrambling ability, and his big day just went backwards on that play.
Javon Langford, who we have been talking about. Yeah. You mentioned what you did a moment ago about the youngster from Louisville. Actually, it was Javon this week when they were unpacking their clothes, and he had 2 pairs of pants and 2 shirts, and they said, "Why didn't you bring more clothes?" He said, "I didn't come out here to dance."
Well, now if you have a good game, you can pay your way back out here and have a real picnic out here. You don't need to do it this week. It's too important.
Gary, last night, John Stark went up to see Coach Goffard at about 10:30 to ask him about some plays. And he said, "Coach, you got to do something about Javon." He said, "Why? What's he doing?" He said, "That's it, nothing." He's standing there staring at the wall saying, "I wish the game would start." He is going to be sacked again, this time James Manley. And let's go down to the sideline, and here's Chris Fowler. Chris.
Ron, thank you. I've got John Stark. Your first taste of Division I competition since '94 for Florida State. Have you noticed the difference in speed playing here?
You bet I did. This reminds me more of playing, in Division I, but great to go out there and have a good drive and feel good about things.
Many people consider it a long shot to go from a small NAIA school to the NFL. Can you do it?
Well, I believe you can.
You wish you didn't have 3 quarterbacks here. You'd like to get some more reps?
Well, I like to get as many reps as I can, but, when I'm called upon, I'll just do my job.
Ron, got a story for you in a second here.
Okay, Mark Williams tries to set up the screen. Here comes Javon Langford after him again, and he just throws it away. And Chris, finish up that story for us.
Well, your roommate's Javon Langford. You said he's been insane this weekend.
Well, it's been kind of good because both of us have came down here with, business-type attitudes. And so I've enjoyed, rooming with him because that's exactly what he's been like.
Said he's been up at 4:30 in the morning, though, banging his head against the wall.
He's definitely ready for the game. I can tell you that much.
Good luck to you, guys.
He got a bad draw to roommates there, didn't he?
Oh, my goodness. Declan out of Purdue will kick it away with the 4th down and many.
I couldn't sleep either, but it wasn't because I was ready for the game. I thought it was jet lag. Maybe that's what it is.
You weren't banging your head against the wall, were you? 43 yards on the punt and a fair catch on the return. And the festival surrounding the Super Bowl on ESPN2 Saturday, beginning at 6 o'clock, Super Bowl Live with Susie Colbert, the Super Bowl for the fans, players, and media perspective. And then at 7 o'clock, True Value Man of the Year, presented to the NFL Player of Off-the-Field Accomplishments. Then at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, America talks to the superstars. Chris Myers hosts a special featuring interviews with many former Super Bowl MVPs. Live audience participation, all coming up on the Deuce on Saturday. Brooke Behringer from Nebraska in at quarterback, throws his first pass complete. It was almost intercepted out at the 50-yard line.
Yeah, that was Marcus Coleman who ran under, and I did a Texas Tech game this year, and we all saw that big upset Tech had against Texas A&M when Coleman had a great game, but he almost got that from Berringer. Now, Berringer's not going to come in and run the option in this game, so it's going to be a little different. But, you know, he showed me a lot. I thought he threw the ball well. He doesn't have an extremely long arm, but very quick arm. And, you know, remember a year ago when he played all those games, you know, he threw over 50%.
Won 7 in a row.
That's exactly. Well, he had a good team, too.
Yeah, he did. You know, and he's going to call a timeout right here as he looked around at the formation, and I don't think everybody was lined up properly. 3:43 left to play in this opening quarter. I tell you, I visited with him this morning, Gary, just before he went into his offensive meeting. He made a couple of really good points. I'm talking about Berringer. I said, how frustrating was it? And he said, I have so much respect for Tommy. And he said, we were very close as far as the final grades, but it was frustrating because I knew I could do the job. And also I asked him, I said, what about, are you comfortable throwing drop back? And he said, listen, our pass offense at Nebraska is much more extensive than what people realize, but every day I threw against one of the best defenses in the nation. He said, I think that helped me.
Well, I give him that. He did throw once one of the best defense, very quickness, but I'm not going to buy that really dynamic pass offense routine. I think it's going to be much more difficult, Mel, for him to step from a Nebraska-type pass offense than what he's going to face if he's going to make it as a third-string quarterback, which is his goal.
No question. I think this week, Milanovic, Berringer, and Stark, they all had their good days, and they had their days where one passed the other. But I think in Berringer's case, you're looking at a guy you want to bring in as an undrafted free agent, bring him along gradually. By his third or fourth year, maybe he's a backup. I don't think anybody right now envisions Brooke Berringer as a starting quarterback in the NFL.
Yep.
You know, the other thing, I asked him, I said, with the rotation of 3 quarterbacks, do you have to keep from pressing? He said, definitely. You know, you don't want to try to make too much out of the 11 plays you're going to run.
Yeah, and that's exactly true. You got to run the play as designed and keep patient.
Now, it looks like a broken play here, and he's going to be knocked down by Reagan Upshaw.
Yeah, he just missed the handoff that time. Reagan Upshaw can, you know, dance around that time, and he made a nice play, but, you know, there's no way Jason Odom can block. He thought the run was coming inside. Watch him step inside. He thinks the ball's going inside. Now the quarterback has it outside. That's not Odom's fault. That's just Upshaw being in the right space when the other team's running a move-bar.
In the open, Gary, we're talking about the combine workout coming up in early February, and I'll tell you, Reagan Upshaw is going to be a workout warrior.
Absolutely.
250 pounds, chiseled, benches about 420, runs a 4.65. I tell you, after that combine, this guy Upshaw could very easily move into the top 10 to 15.
Could he be a Mamula-type guy?
No question about it. Definitely.
Well, they fake the reverse. Now they're going to throw back to the reverse man. That's Shelley. James Shelley out of Central State of Ohio is out of bounds at around the 50-yard line as Coach Corso is right there to help make sure the official marked it right.
And the reason we're showing Jermaine Lewis that time, he was the guy that was faking the crackback block, and he was like 10 yards open. And Jermaine's saying, I can't believe my bad luck on that one. That was a chance to be a hero.
What they want to do with Jermaine Lewis here, and Ron, is get him into the game in terms of running the football. When reverses, show his open field skills. I'll tell you, when he was turning that corner in practice, he turned the jets on, even half speed. Remarkable acceleration and speed, 4.41. He's small, but I'll tell you, he's an electrifying football player. As a role performer, this kid will get the job done maybe as a 3rd or 4th rounder.
I think that's a good point because late in the season, he even played some tailback and showed that he can carry the ball to the backfield. And that's where he's going to have to play, is that either slot back position or half back against the 3rd down situation defense. And he showed he has both skills.
Scott Milanovic will kick it away for the East team. They lead at 7-0. We have 2:51 to play in this opening quarter.
And Milanovic will be the 3rd quarterback we see in this game.
Charles Jones is back deep, waiting at around the 10-yard line. Boy, Milanovic really got all this one into the wind, and he sends it 2 yards deep into the end zone. That's a 50-yard kick.
Yeah, but then nobody's rushing on the play. That's like hitting balls off the driving range. You know, you don't have to go chase them out of bounds if you don't hit them straight.
That's exactly right. You know, you were talking about Jermaine Lewis at only 5'8", 171 pounds, but we all turned our heads quickly as they were running the reverses in practice the other day. And I know that the coaches on the opposing team are looking for that play, as well as Van Dyke, remember, threw a half-back pass in the East-West Shrine game. And I know Coach Godfrey's team is looking for that play today in this ball game. Williams still at quarterback, and straight ahead with the running play as Alan Campos steps up to make the hit.
One thing about Mark Williams, if you're going to be effective with Mark Williams, the quarterback, Lee's going to have to roll him out, getting away from pressure. He's not a straight drop-back pocket passer. When he rolls right, he'll look, and if he sees nobody open, he's going to run. He's a poor man's Tommy Frazier. That's what he's effective at doing.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. What he has to do, I think, if you're Mark Williams, is you have to do something yourself. You don't have enough time to put a lot of structure in. You got to go back and tell guys, hey, on this out, run an out and up. On your flare, make sure you're looking for the ball. You have to get involved in the game as a quarterback.
That was Reggie Brown who caught the swing pass. Campos comes up to make the tackle on him. These are unofficial numbers, but, Gary, we got him for 7 first-quarter hits.
Yeah, that means you're in the middle of the action. But when you're playing that weak outside linebacker and they only have one formation, you're almost an unblockable player.
Yeah.
So if you line up deep and run side to side, you have to play all zone. You can get in on a lot of plays.
Johnny Frost at Louisville got a lot more publicity than Alan Campos did, but you talk to NFL people that are here this week, Campos drew raves as a coverage guy and as an open field tackler, a real hitter.
Williams straight back in the pocket this time, goes up on top, looking for Van Dyke, and he had the ball and then had it knocked away at the last moment as Williams had the cover, but I think it was Veland who came over and then knocked it out of his hand.
And Veland came across and cleaned up on it that time to help Williams, but you'll see again, this ball is thrown late. Van Dyke, big guy, nice wiggle there, made the cornerback that time at least respect the inside move. There it is, it's a jump ball, no one has a chance. And then Veland, like all great free safeties will do, and maybe he's not in that great category, but in this game, it's all they got. So he came across and made the play and cleaned up.
DeLozier's kick. Fair catch is called for at the 39-yard line by Matthews, and he makes it. We'll hold it right here. 38 yards in the kick, and we have 1:10 to play in this opening quarter. The breeze that we had earlier that I know the players were probably enjoying has subsided a little bit here. It's turned into a little bit of a muggy afternoon. Still a great day for football and no chance of rain this afternoon. I wanted to mention, as they come to the line of scrimmage, Brian Stoltenberg, of course, played with Coy Detmer. Congratulations to Coy. He got married last night. Young lady by the name of Katie Kelly.
Katie Detmer now.
Yeah, it's Katie Detmer now. And you know that other than Dave Plotty and the 7 Colorado players who were here at this ball, they're the only ones that were not at the reception last
party
night.
Out that, huh?
And you know that Stoltenberg would have been there. In fact, Stoltenberg and Detmer, I thought, were probably the only center quarterback combination starting as true freshmen in any place in the country.
Saw him play against Nebraska that game when they got absolutely destroyed, about as bad as Nebraska handled Florida in that championship game.
Shotgun, Behringer trying to get out of harm's way and not going to be able to. Boy, he gets whacked down hard by George Noga, and a big hand goes up because George is from right here in Hawaii.
He is, but he ought to go over and shake Reagan Upshaw's hand, number 93, because that's the guy who came from the outside, just beat him off the line of scrimmage that time. James Dexter, his offensive tackle. And that's really the challenge. Can the tackles in the game handle really the skilled players on the defensive end?
I'll tell you, there's not a lot of offensive tackles on it who are going to handle Reagan Upshaw. I'll tell you what, you need a little help. This guy is cat quick.
In a game like this also, particularly for some of these players from smaller schools, they have not had to get back as quickly as they're having to get back.
They haven't learned how to hold yet either.
That's the end of the first quarter. 7-0. East on top.
Finding the best bottled water can be very confusing. At first glance, all water looks the same. But if you scientifically precipitate out the solids, you discover all water is not equal. Introducing naturally fresh, pure spring mountain water, refreshingly pure. This naturally fresh spring water adds extra quality to the all-natural goodness of every naturally fresh product. Make the clear choice. Naturally fresh, pure spring mountain water.
So what's it going to be, Dion? Football or baseball?
Both, boss.
Both?
Both.
Offense or defense?
Both.
Both?
Both.
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 Pizza Hut.
Meat lovers or stuffed crust pizza?
Both.
Both?
Oh, want it all? Now Pizza Hut offers our Lovers Line toppings. Meat lovers, pepperoni lovers, or supreme. Piled high in a stuffed crust pizza.
So what'll it be, Dion? 15, 20 million?
Both.
Both. You'll love the stuff we're made of.
Only one car company offers 2 front airbags and 2 side impact airbags. Standard on every new car. Now, who might that be? Mercedes? BMW? Lexus? Acura? Now, that wasn't too difficult, was it? Drive safely.
When I got rid of my gray hair, I wanted a natural look. So I didn't take any chances. I used the sure thing for a natural look called Just for Men.
Apply Just for Men, and in 5 minutes, rinse. It's specially timed to blend away gray, bring back your natural look, and condition hair.
It's a sure thing.
Just for Men, the sure thing for a natural look. And now try Just for Men Color Gel for the hard-to-color hair of mustaches and beards. Brush in, rinse out. Just 5 minutes.
7-0, the East leading the West as we begin play here in the second quarter. Ron Franklin along with Gary Danielson, Mel Kiper, and Chris Fowler. 7-0, East on top. By the way, I mentioned Dave Plotty, the fact that he was not at the wedding, and people might say, well, what's Dave doing out here? He actually is the public relations guy for this game, but he's the SID at Colorado. Berger rolls the pocket, and that pass gets away from him. Really sailed. Freddie Scott is the guy that he wanted. Ulafale was coming with some heavy pressure.
Yeah, Ulafale came with some heavy pressure.
He knocked him down
right
hard.
on his back. Put Berger right on his back that time. And the BYU Ulafale, number 98, you'll see as Berger lets it go right to the face. That'll cost him money in the NFL, but it might move him up with the scouts who are watching him here right now.
Dwayne Bosick from the Texas Longhorns stands back to punt at the 17-yard line. His longest 72 this year, an average of almost 41 per kick. Didn't get this one to spiral as Blair catches the ball and a flag comes down. He gets hit as soon as he catches it. It's a 37-yard boot.
Did not give him enough room to catch the ball, and they're going to get a 5-yard penalty for that.
Blair fields the punt at the 32, tackled by Tyrone Williams.
It's amazing how the game can become skewed if you don't play real football rules. Like there's no rush on the punter, so the wingmen can get down there so fast that it takes the punt return out of the game.
Inside the 2-yard line, first down.
You know, it's a great point because the guy's going to sit back there and make sure the laces are just right.
Exactly.
That his stride is exactly right and kick it away. And by that time, you have the extra time, as Gary mentioned, and the cover guys are all over the place. Our 2 head coaches, Mike Gottfried and Lee Corso. And in fact, I'll tell you, in a couple of minutes, we'll also identify their assistant coaches down on the sideline. That ball is loose on the ground at the 37-yard line. And let's go down to check in with Chris Fowler. Chris.
Ron, I've got the most talked about guy this week from his roommate, John Stark, from a lot of the scouts, Javon Lankford. You take a little different approach to this game than most of these guys. This is not Hawaiian vacation for you, huh?
No, this is definitely not a Hawaiian vacation for me. This is a business trip, you know. I always wanted this chance, and I've been looking forward to get on. You know, unfortunately, we wasn't good enough for whatever in college, you know, to get on TV that much, have that exposure. But now that I got the chance, I want to take much, you know.
Watch this play. We'll talk to you in a second.
That's Blair right over the middle, breaks away inside the 40, and he's down to the 36-yard line. And let's go back to Chris.
When you see guys in the NFL as pass rushers, who do you compare yourself? How good can you be in the next level?
I think myself, you know, not bragging, but I think I can be one of the best, you know. I compare myself probably like a Dirk Thomas or Lawrence Taylor. You know, I like that intensity, you know. Getting out there, hitting quarterbacks, getting to the ball. That's my idols.
Intense and not lacking in confidence. Derek Thomas, LT, guys.
Okay, he set himself up in a classroom where it doesn't take very long to call the roll when it comes to greatness.
I'll tell you, George Perlis said at the beginning of the week, right away, that he could fit in with that L.C. Greenwood, Joe Green, Ernie Holmes line, Gary.
Yeah, and he coached them, so he should know.
Mark Williams calls a timeout.
Love your eyes, Jason.
13:30 left until halftime. The East still on top 7-0. We'll be right back.
Ford F-Series has been the best-selling truck in the world for 19 straight years. Now we're about to launch the next in line. The all-new 1997 Ford F-150. More power, more V8 payload, more new ideas. The new Ford F-150. Strength after strength after strength.
Fellow Americans, I realize that not everyone is a powerful lobbyist or owns a huge poultry conglomerate, and many of you may be a little short on cash after the middle-class tax increase I sucker punched you with. But if you still want to contribute to my legal defense fund, Hooters Restaurants is donating 1 out of every 10 chicken wings they sell to go toward feeding my lawyers. So please, go to Hooters and buy as many chicken wings as you can afford. Thank you.
It's as old as the wheel. Man seeks rental cars that are not only nice, but of course nearby. That's why Thrifty made them so handy. With car rentals right at the airport or right in the neighborhood.
Look for the Thrifty location nearest you. And don't forget to use your Montgomery Ward credit card at Montgomery Ward Car Rental at all Thrifty locations.
Your neighborhood Thrifty car rental, historically known for low rates.
Also, don't. ESPN's presentation of the Hooters Hula Bowl is being brought to you by Hooterade, the sport drink that puts something back. And by Ford and your local Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? Now some of the gorgeous scenery out here in Hawaii. These players have had an absolutely great time in preparing for this football game here. A lot of scouts out here looking around, particularly Mel Kiper at quarterbacks, as this is a year where folks are still trying to make up their mind who they're going to go with. Williams, pressure from Zinkowitz, and he threw it away. Trent Zinkowitz out of Michigan. I promised him I would say hi to his parents. He said the first time since grammar school, junior high, high school, or college that his folks had not been in the stands to see him play.
Well, he played close to home. He's out of St. Ignatius High School in Cleveland, one of the great programs in high school football, one of the most highly recruited athletes, and struggled a bit early in his career, but I thought he had a great senior season. He played hurt a bit, and he also played, in the Michigan defense, it's a 3 technique where he's taken on the double teams so the other guys can make the plays, and I was really impressed with his leadership this year.
Hard worker, total effort guy. Swings the pass out, has it complete. It's Andre Davis of TCU, and he'll take it inside the 30-yard line. Andre had a very good week last week in the East-West Shrine game. He had 2 touchdowns, Mel.
Well, Lee said to me on Tuesday at the practices, he came over, he said, I need a back that can go 80 yards in one play. So he went and got him the best player in the East-West game, one of the best offensive players, which was Andre Davis, a kid out of TCU, nice career, balancing out that offense along with Max Knockney, their quarterback. And I'll tell you, he's quick, got a tremendous leap at the goal line for the touchdown last week in the East-West Shrine game. And I'll tell you, he's the kind of kid that if Lee can hang his hat on Andre Davis, he'll make some big plays.
Yeah, he did. He hurdled about 4 feet in the air to get into the end zone last week to score in Palo Alto. Straight ahead with this handoff, and there's not much going. As Campbell's there to make the tackle. And it's Terry Barnum out of Southern Cal who was the ball carrier. The notes on him, good blocker, good pass catcher. First time that we've seen him as far as carrying the ball, and we have an injured player at the 30-yard line, and that looks like it's Terry Killen. And let's throw it down to Chris Fowler. Chris?
Ron, I'm standing on the near sideline here as they contemplate this 4th down situation. Chuck Knox is calling the plays for the West squad. You guys going for it here?
Yes, we are. We're going for it right now.
What's the call?
Here's the call. We're going to go to left near, fullback lead left. Got it? Left near, fullback lead left.
Got to make it now. Stand
So power football. What exactly is that, Coach?
That's just a fullback off tackle with a lead blocker in front of him. Just trying to get about a yard here.
It's kind of like ground chuck days, huh?
Well, not exactly. We've been throwing the ball a whole lot out here. I tell you. So when you get down 4th down here, I think you got to throw this, or you got to run this.
We'll see how it works out. Thanks, Coach.
Okay, we'll look for the play as Killens is having to be helped off the field, and we're looking at his right leg, either his calf muscle or his ankle. Couldn't tell exactly which. Could you, Mel or Gary?
Couldn't tell if it was a cramp or a pull or, sprained ankle, really. Killens had a great year for Penn State this year.
Boy, he did. Great pass rusher.
Led the Big Ten in sacks. Yeah, and there, that's a bad news for here. They probably only have 4 linebackers in the game, and one just went out, and it's 85 degrees, and most of these guys live where you're still shoveling snow.
That means that Javon gets to play every snap.
He doesn't care.
You think he's disappointed?
Well, he doesn't care.
Just lined me up. He's even been doing long snaps this week.
Going right at Javon.
Yep, there they go. And I don't know.
Actually, someone came from behind to make that play. It had to be the middle linebacker, Philip Ellis. When you watch this, there's nobody else to make the play. Because I thought
Langford was the first man to make the play.
Was it Manley got in there?
So, yeah.
But, boy, I'll tell you, someone came from behind the play to make the play because Langford was handled pretty well on the play when they were running right at him. Coming in from the middle of the screen.
There's Manley.
Manley
right
coming
there.
right across. Number 56 comes in on the inside. On the bottom of the pile was Philip Ellis. So both your middle linebacker and backside tackle make the play.
So there's a timeout. Still 7-0. We'll be right back.
How do you amaze an amazing mouth? Well, why not start with Long John Silver's Flaky Fish? The batter dip twist no mouth can resist. Pick up our crunchy golden shrimp or tender all-white chicken. Famous batter dip fish, chicken, and shrimp. 3 delicious ways to amaze your mouth. Only at Long John Silver's.
Oh, yes.
It's the amazing 25-cent shrimp sale. Golden batter dip shrimp now just $0.25 each. No limit.
Okay, question. What's orange and put something back in the community? Rose, it's Hooterade, the new sports drink from Hooters. It quenches your thirst and puts back what your body needs. Hooterade is available at Hooters and other smart retailers. And best of all, proceeds from the sale of Hooterade go to local charities like the Juvenile Diabetes Foundation. Hooterade, it puts something back.
Ford Credit and Ford Division announced the Great Percent Event, reducing interest rates to just 4.8% APR for 48 months, or choose $600 cash back on a purchase or a red carpet lease. It's your choice on 10 of America's most popular 96 Ford cars and trucks, including Taurus, Contour, Windstar, Escort, Ranger, and more. The Great Percent Event at your Ford dealer now. Hurry, offer ends soon.
Yesterday, the festivities turned respectful as players visited the site where Americans were thrown into World War II. Battleship Row at the USS Arizona Memorial, still the resting place for 1,114 sailors. A reflective time as today's stars paid respect to yesterday's heroes. East on top, and they just had a very big defensive stop, and Barringer continues to go at quarterback, and he's got to be getting very close to his 11 plays. There you see the draw play, and Ngolia out of UMass is the ball carrier. He'll take it for 4 or 5. Interesting in talking to Mike Gottfried about this young man out of UMass. I know he's a fullback slash tailback, can do a lot of things. Mike says he knows that Ngolia is going to make somebody's team in the NFL.
Hard-working, tough, smart kid. I think that's what Mike likes. The draws, the traps. He runs very effectively, catches the ball very easily out of the backfield. Really soft hand, then he turns it up the field. But I think what Mike liked was how quickly he picked everything up. He was doing everything at full speed immediately when he took over on this practice field on Tuesday morning. This kid was a stick-out performer.
Well, he made the point. He said he's very consistent, and he just does it the same way every time.
Well, he's not going to be a frontliner either, Ron. What he's going to do is be a small fullback reserve and maybe a guy that can come in situations and doing job, be a special teamer. But I think the smarts that Rini Ngolia brings and the versatility is what's going to allow him to make a football team.
Barringer from the shotgun. Good protection this time. Pressure comes on, and that is nothing but a coverage sack as John Ross with a volley combining to make the hit, and that's 4 sacks now.
And that's another one where a good middle linebacker, Behringer, looking at his target, there's Zach Thomas, the All-American, 2-time All-American from Texas Tech, reading the quarterback's eyes, and that's where the lack of experience at quarterback. Zach Thomas had that big interception against Corey Pullick in that game against A&M, read the eyes and just took away that throw that time.
Yeah, and he turned, you can see him turn around and holler at Brian Roach of San Jose after the sack. And Behringer's going to have to run for his life on this one. LaCurtis Jones out of Baylor comes over to make the tackle on him.
That was a curious call, a rollout or a play-action pass type play on 3rd down. We got to tell Coach Godfrey that he wouldn't even like that call if he was up here.
And we look at Zach Thomas, we were talking about earlier, a guy that doesn't have the great height. 5'10", 7" is what he was measured at the other day. But I'll tell you, in terms of the smarts and the ability to read a quarterback and diagnose the play, and then when he gets on the scene to make the tough hit, open field tackling, to be able to fill those inside gaps, he was 238 pounds. So he may be short, but he's not small.
Yeah, Melanie, he also has that really unteachable quality of being able to recognize things almost as they're happening. I don't know if his speed obviously is always going to be a hindrance, but he seems to understand the game, something you just can't teach.
Yeah, you're right. He does, and he's got that middle linebacker mentality too. Would you say, Gary?
Yeah, and I think he's also be a candidate for that. You could play that 5-2 where you have 2 inside linebackers. I think he'd fit that more than a single middle linebacker where you have to cover more space.
So there's a flag down on the play. The flag has been, or the penalty declined. And let's go down to Chris Fowler again. Chris?
Ron, with Terry Killens, his foot injury, not too serious. Trainers have told him it's just a bruise. They're going to ice it and see how he responds. When you look at the NFL, obviously Penn State's been linebacker. Where do you see yourself fitting in?
The outside linebacker position. I like to watch Greg Lloyd. I like his aggressive style. And I was down at a game last week, not the Colts one, but the one before that when they played.
NFL playoff game you're talking about?
I was down at that one right before the Colts game, and I just watched him, and I liked his aggressive, style and play.
They say you've become kind of a stock-up guy. You've been improving as the workouts have gone this week. Does that excite you?
Yeah, a little bit, but I didn't do nothing different. I haven't been doing it all year. I just go out, work hard every play, try to do the best I can so I can go out there on days like today and play well.
If you can't go back in there, there's not too many linebackers. These guys are going to be going every snap. Do you feel an obligation to get out there?
Yeah, I want to be out there with my teammates. I know they're tired because we didn't have too many people going out, rotating in for us. So I'm going to try to get this foot back together so I can go out there and help them out.
Like to see it, Ron?
Okay, they are going to punt again. The offense came on the field and the defense, and then all of a sudden they said, nope, let's go back here and do it again. So Dwayne Bosick will punt it again. This is Jones, and he makes the fair catch at the 38.
Look at Terry Killens. You talked about outside linebacker. He's not that big. He's about 6'1", 6'3", about 223 to 227 in that range. But he closes very well, tremendously intense. That's what the scouts really raved about. In the drills, he was hitting anything that moved. Even in drills when you weren't supposed to hit, he was taking guys down. And I think that nose for the ball, that quickness and speed in pursuit is going to allow him to be a weak side outside linebacker in the NFL.
We had his game up at the Meadowlands against Rutgers, and he was all over the place. Corey Pullick out of Texas A&M has come in at quarterback for the West. And with the pitch, 2 yards and now 3 is Andre Davis is hit by Alan Campos of Louisville. Here's Corey, the winningest quarterback in Texas A&M history. 6'3", 205.
I think Corey Pullick sometimes was the victim of the type of offense that really he was coached not to lose games. Most of the time they had a team where they had the advantage in personnel, and RC would say, now, Corey, be careful. You don't want to give the other team the game. So when you have that type of a mentality as a quarterback, it's tough to go out and show. But I saw him play late in the year, and I thought he played better when he had to throw the ball more. And I think he's got the size and the arm to do it.
Gary, it's a good observation because Mike and I had that Michigan game at San Antonio, and he was almost flawless that night.
Yes, and I think that the more he throws, the better opportunity, the better he does, and he just has to get used to you know, it's tough. Texas A&M, you know, the quarterback there, he is the center of attention. I thought a lot of times he felt too much pressure on himself. He needs to just loosen up and just play football.
Well, offsides called against the East. Shane Burton out of Tennessee jumped off. So with a 5-yard penalty, it's second down and about a yard and a half to pick up the first down for the West. Fakes it to Davis. Pullick sets deep and goes long. And for some reason, I don't know if Blair collided with the defensive back or what. I know he's not the type of player who would give up on a play, but he kind of stopped. Well, Tuesday on ESPN2, NCAA basketball doubleheader. 7 o'clock, Rutgers at West Virginia. Then at 9 o'clock, it is top-ranked UMass, of course, playing without the injured Marcus Camby, but with senior forward Dante Bright. They are at Pittsburgh. This is the caliber of game that you can see on the Deuce. If you don't have ESPN2, call your cable operator, satellite program provider right away. Rutgers, West Virginia, and UMass and Pitt on the Deuce.
I hope they're not going to run that near right towards that same guy because they'll probably only have one play in. There it is, same way.
Yep, they go the other way. Boy,
nice job.
But Barnum, with a good second effort, takes it across midfield, and it's Shane Burton who made the contact and brought him down.
Terry Barnum, as you mentioned, from USC, actually started his career as a defensive back and went into Coach Robinson and says, you know, I'd rather dish out the punishment than take it. He just runs over a tackle right there, and that's the effort that needed on the 2 other short yardage plays where I thought it was blocked much better that time. You know who's really looking good to me is Veland, the free safety, you know, from Nebraska. He's the reason that long pass that was quit on by Donnie Blair, there was nobody open.
And Corey a little bit behind the intended receiver on that play, and it'll bring up second down.
A lot of jawing going on right there out in the secondary that time. You run slants, you got to take hits. And that's what guys like Donnie Blair have to do. You know, you have to, when you're a smaller size receiver, you don't have the explosive speed. You have to be able to show people and your quarterback that you're going to come across the middle and catch the ball.
Gary, this right here is Jeremy Hogue out of SC. And I want to mention the fact this young man has gotten more than $40,000 in postgraduate scholarships. Jeremy Hogue is truly what is known as a student athlete. Levine taking people with him almost down to the 40-yard line. In fact, he gets there, and that will be enough for the West first down. As Levine running very, very hard. He had an average of 5.4 yards per carry. And he looked like it right there as he just took a mass of folks with him.
One of the real interesting matchups, I think, in this football game. Rob Johnson, the center from Northwestern, is going to go against Trent Zenkwitz a lot in this game from Michigan. And
they didn't get to see each other this year.
Yeah, you know, east-west. I mean, well, you know, Northwestern is west of a little bit of Michigan, but you're going to see Zenkwitz matched up this time against Hogue. But he's going to be matched up. And they were laying out by the pool, and they said, you know, keep the cameras on us. We're going to play a little union ball today. We're going to let one guy make a play, then the other guy make a play.
Union ball. I like that. 7-0 if you've just joined us. We have 7:57 left to play until halftime. The East leading 7-0.
Johnson's quite a predictor, too. In the preseason, he said Darnell Autry is going to be the man, and he was right about that.
Deep route right over the middle, and that is Rock. Burnell Rock out of Claremont Mud. And Corey Pullick threw that one on the line. It's good for 19 yards in the first down.
There you go. A couple Big Ten guys. We talked about it, but there they are. They're matched up. Yesterday were sunbathing. This time they're holding each other off. This time it was Johnson's turn to make it. It's my turn. Just Hagen there right there. Quick slant, though, on the play. Not much chance for a defensive lineman to get in there and make a play on a quick slant. And I think with the type of blocking at the tackle, that's what the West squad is going to have to do is throw a lot of quick hitters.
Rob might have been saying, come on, Zink, you're making this a little tough. Plenty of time and dumps it out. We don't have a flag, but L.T. Levine was being ridden by Jeff Gooch. And Levine turns around and said, wait a minute, where's the laundry? And look at Lee Corso.
Here now Lee is saying, I'll tell you, my friend, he was interfered. You notice we don't have Lee Mike this year. There is a reason for that.
That's right. It's called FCC.
Yes, you bet. Lee got a little carried away last year, but he's much more control, if you can believe that, this year.
Well, you can see, yeah. Picture total restraint. Pulling on a short drop, right over the middle, and Alan Campos couldn't believe he threw it to him, and he dropped the ball. It's going to be incomplete, and let's go down to Chris Fowler, who is with head coach Lee Corso, and now he's gone again.
I was for a second round, but he wants to consult with Chuck Knox on this big third down call here. Did you catch that, guys?
Did anybody tell Lee the game is televised?
Take your ball in there.
Oh, my. It is third down and 10, and the line to make is the 11.
He does make a living doing this, doesn't he? I thought.
And listen, if you put sidelines in the studio, he'd run away from you also. Got his pass and has it complete. At the 6-yard line.
He has it intercepted.
I beg your pardon, by Larry Bush of Oklahoma.
And that's where timing is really a killer on that play. Pullig really thought he threw a correct pass. The receiver stopped just an instant, and really it's just a fraction of an instant before he would stop. You see it on the outside. Van Dyke runs a perfect route. The ball was in the air when he broke, and he just threw it inside, maybe 2 degrees inside. You get it picked off.
So we'll take a break. We'll be back with more from Honolulu after we pause for this.
Shopping for auto parts shouldn't have to be difficult. At Champion Auto Stores, it's not. That's because we shop the competition so you don't have to. When you stop in our stores, you'll find a posting of not only our price, but also their price. It's our way of proving you'll always get the right products at the right price. Shop Champion Auto.
Right now at Champion Auto Stores, you can get our motor oil for just 79 cents a quart. At Champion Auto Stores, we shop the competition so you don't have to.
Shopper has the hottest coupons in town free at these locations. Check out these hot deals.
Save $100 off any high-quality paint job or repair. $500 or more at Wreckmasters, 315 South 14th Street. Wreckmasters, quality collision repair and painting.
New Partners, computer dating service. Tired of the bar scene, ads, and potluck? Come into the 90s. Call New Partners for free information.
The Smart Shopper, the hottest coupons in town available free at these fine locations.
I ain't doing no more of those promos for you guys. Can't you cheapskates just leave me alone? I don't care if you're doing a special Super Bowl edition of Game Day. Stop calling me. And you better not just stick an ugly picture of my mug on TV.
On February 12th, we'll present the ESPYs live. And every night on SportsCenter, we'll show the greatest plays and performances of the year. Call your ESPY vote-in on SportsCenter or vote on ESPNnet. The ESPYs, presented by General Motors, only on ESPN.
So we are back at the 50th Hooters Hula Bowl in Honolulu. 7-0, East on top. They scored that one fairly early, and then it's been a stalemate ever since. Scott Milanovich has come in at quarterback out of Maryland. And flags everywhere, and new quarterback and new cadence.
Here we go with the Trezell Jenkins, Hugh Douglas Part 2. Today it's going to be Odom and Reagan Upshaw. Remember we had the fight a year ago.
False start. The offense. 5-yard penalty.
You know, Mel, speaking of that, Trezell Jenkins helped himself. Sometimes who you draw, you know, really helps you in the draft. Now, Odom has a good chance to show that this matchup what he can do.
I think all week in practice as well, Gary, when you're challenged, I think both these kids are high draft choices. Upshaw, maybe top 15. Odom, I think, has moved into the first round. But that's what the scouts are looking for, and that's what these players want. They want competition, and they had it all week in practice.
Milanovich from his own end zone, incomplete. Freddie Scott, the intended receiver. Cedric Anderson out of Tulane was there with the cover.
Just want to get down near to the end zone here where you can get the safety. They're helping out Jason Odom, Gary, giving him a little help on Reagan Upshaw, and I think that's what Mike Gottfried wanted to do. He felt like this guy's too good a speed rusher to expect anybody to handle him one-on-one.
Absolutely.
Terry Killens had to go to the locker room just a moment ago with that injured foot. We've just been told that James Dexter of South Carolina injured his right big toe, and he is out. Straight up the middle, big opening. Has 5, has 10, counted off at 14. It's Winslow Oliver who scored the only touchdown in this game. And Chris Fowler, what do you have for us?
Well, the attrition on the east side, both Dexter and Killen just taken off in a cart. They don't have x-ray facilities here at the stadium. They have to take them downtown to a hospital to be x-rayed. Not necessarily in the indication that it's a serious injury. Killen's still experiencing some pain on the top of that foot. They're going to go down and x-ray it just as a precaution. Dexter did leave on crutches. He said he might have a dislocated right toe. You hate to see injuries, especially in all-star games, guys.
So it's third down, and they need one. And on the running play, they're going to get it. That's Winslow Oliver out of New Mexico who picks it up. Of course, they're looking for a stop right here as we're about to go under 6 minutes to play until halftime. Zach Thomas helping out on the stop again. He had the tackle on the play just before that.
And this, you're talking about Zach Thomas. This is not the type of game where Zach Thomas can really show what he's all about as a football player. He's almost out of, this is like flag football. He needs to pull on a few plays right at him, ISOs and the counter trays. That's when he can show his game.
A lot of it, everybody covered. Now lobs it out here in the flat. Oh my goodness, and it's dropped. And wide open was Clarence Matthews. And I'm telling you, Clarence catches that one, he's going to be running for a while.
Well, Clarence had trouble this week. Clarence Matthews catching the football. He body caught everything. And on that particular pass, Milanovic led him beautifully. Would have had about 10 to 15 yards of open space. He had to extend his hand to catch the football, and he wasn't able to do it.
We were just talking, Mel, also about Zach Thomas being out of water. But look what he does well here, and this film will go around. Play action pass, turns around, and finds his receiver. He just knows how to play football. Gets in the way of the quarterback and took the throw away that time from Milano. That's what you have to do as a middle linebacker. You might not have the guy covered, but you got to get in the vision of the quarterback.
Shovel pass. This is Milne. Close to the first down out at the 25-yard line. Milne had an outstanding game in the Outback Bowl, and in that one his counterpart was injured, so he got to go the entire game and didn't have to swap time on the field, and he was impressive, very impressive.
Yeah, he really is. He's a great athlete for a fullback, and he can catch the ball. That's what I think. You don't have to catch the ball 30 yards downfield when you're a fullback, but you do have to give the quarterback, when you're trying to show the scouts that you'll pick up the blitz, obviously, you'll block for the running plays, but can he dump the ball off you? That's all you have to show if you're a fullback.
They got 8 on that last play in the shovel pass, Gary, so it's third down and short. And straight ahead, and the little guy behind Milne, Winslow Oliver, will have the first down as he'll take it to the 27. And Chris is down on the sideline with Mike Gottfried.
Listening in to Coach Gottfried setting in the play here. He was worried he might have to go for a fourth down on that last one, but you got it.
I was going for it the whole way.
You guys looked like you were going to wear him down. The first drive just pushed him back down the field. It hasn't been the case since then.
There's the heat over here.
Corso said it's 20 degrees cooler on that side.
We're melting over here. We've already taken 2 to the locker room.
Milanovic under pressure. They set the screen, and it's intercepted by Reagan Upshaw. And Upshaw out of California just continues to impress as the junior comes up with the pickoff. He finished the regular season with 18 tackles for a loss, and today has an interception in this Hula Bowl.
He read the screen pass that time, was in the middle of it, and Milanovic just has to see that. Cut block, he falls down and gets back up. That's hustle.
What a great athlete, too, Gary.
Yeah, you bet. You fall down, get back up, and you find something happen. Little pressure from the inside that time. It was either Ross or Ulafale, and he turns it outside, and Upshaw, again, in the middle of the action and just not laying on the ground, getting up to see what happens. The football happens.
That's the reason they run that reaction drill, agility drill, where you have to go to the ground and get back up, and he did it extremely well. Damon Heward back in at quarterback, and he lofts one to the end zone, and it is caught for the touchdown. Van Dyke.
Oh, I'll tell you. He was out of bounds from up here. Now, you always get to see a replay, but he went right over the back that time of Tyrone Williams. His ball looked like it was out of bounds. Van Dyke shows what he can do, but there's not a lot of room there. He's up in the air, His foot comes out of bounds. Well, I don't know if his actually looked like his right foot might have come in first. He gets shoved. No, but in college football, you can shove the man out of bounds, and it's an incomplete pass. That should be incomplete.
And it's going to be incomplete.
It should have been. That was a good call, but Van Dyke showed that he could do it. What Van Dyke did wrong was give away the outside of the field too quickly. He should have kept that field open to the outside and let the ball take him there. He ran to the outside and took the field away from Damon Huard that time, who threw the ball perfectly.
Joe Alex is not real happy about the event, but he'll get another opportunity. You can bet that, and will take advantage of it. Finished the year with 129 catches to lead the nation. Huard's pass going to be picked off. Blair never turned around. Tyrone Williams looking for a block, and he'll take it back to the 29-yard line, and now the crowd is buzzing. We've had a couple of back-to-back interceptions. So there's a timeout on the field with 3:50 left until halftime. Back-to-back interceptions as the defenses come through, and it's the East on top by a count of 7-0. We'll be right back.
The future just keeps coming at you. I think about kids today, those video games they play. Every year, a new generation, more advanced. Well, this is the next generation of power. Renewal from Railback. They're alkaline, like regular batteries, but more advanced. You can renew them, reuse them, instead of just throwing them out. They don't just come back, they come back strong. Play it smart. Railback Renewal.
22 minutes, 16 seconds past the hour.
Nice guy, James. His name's William.
A familiar face. A morning smile. An extra step.
Bridge was down, but he got here anyway, didn't he? Amazing.
At this moment, the people of FedEx are using their know-how, determination, and heart to treat your package as if it were the most important package of all. Because to them, that's exactly what it is.
James, such a nice boy. He is a nice boy, but his name's William.
How do you amaze an amazing mouth? Well, why not start with Long John Silver's flaky fish? The batter dip twist no mouth can resist. Pick up our crunchy golden shrimp or tender all-white chicken. Famous batter dip fish, chicken, and shrimp. 3 delicious ways to amaze your mouth. Only at Long John Silver's.
Oh, yes.
It's the amazing 25-cent shrimp sale. Golden batter dip shrimp, now just a quarter each, no limit.
So the East now with 1 turnover and the West with 2. As Tyrone Williams comes up with the interception, you look at Blair, and he didn't really finish his route.
No, we're going to look at that one more time if we have a chance after this first down play as the East gets the ball back. But he comes inside. When the ball is thrown by Huard, he's inside. You see his left foot just as the ball goes, and then now Blair decides he's going to be covered and go deep, and that's a pick off on a perfect throw, really. In that situation as a quarterback, you're depending on your receiver to stay in front of that guy and shield him, and the worst you should get if your linebacker doesn't pick it off is an incompletion.
That's right. So the quarterback looks bad in the stats, but actually not his fault.
Blair's fault on that one.
Milanovic, and here comes that reverse. Oh, what a comeback block as Jermaine Lewis on the reverse. We've been talking about wait and see what happens. And it was George Noga who almost got knocked to another island by Odom.
Well, he's got his mouth guard painted with only like 2 teeth. He might not have any teeth after this one. Noga with the ponytail. I'm going to call this a ponytail block because Odom comes around, and that's a de-helmeter right there. It doesn't hurt as bad as it looks, I guess.
Oh, no? That almost knocked his pigtail off.
Well, Odom got back on that one, and for all the talking going on in this game, that was a fun block. You got a no-look block on a reverse. Whew.
Jermaine Lewis took it out to the 45 and straight ahead this time. Ingolia, and the young man from UMass, takes it across midfield and east to the 48-yard line. As Agent Hart Ellis out of the University of Hawaii is there to make the tackle.
Wow. That's fun. You know, I mean, you get a little reverse block. You've had to block these guys on the edge all day, and now you get a chance to turn around if you're an offensive tackle and give them a little piece of the medicine coming the other way. And yes, that is the ponytail. And I'm not going to tell him anything, are you?
No, I don't think so. completely obliterating the G in Noga. Clarence Matthews tries to turn the corner, close to the first down, but he's not going to have it. Hula Folly, one of the first ones to get out there. Hula Folly has to feel right at home because this is where he was born, in Honolulu. He was suspended for 4 games this year and missed that playing time, but had a shoulder injury and surgery early on in his career, which kind of set him back as far as progress.
Yeah, and he did not even get a sack this year, so you can tell he was playing a little bit injured and wasn't playing at times, and BYU counted on him for more than that, and he just didn't have that type of season.
What's up there, Utah?
Well, this is Winslow Oliver, and he wiggles across the 45 to the 44. Zach Thomas there to make the tackle. Well, the best in the world take it down onto the first Grand Slam event of the year. The Ford Australian Open begins tomorrow, 1 o'clock Eastern Time on ESPN. Unseeded Australian Mark Philippoussis upset #1 seed Pete Sampras yesterday. Defending champ and #2 seed Andre Agassi advances to the quarterfinals. Now, if he wins this tournament, he'll move back to #1 in the world. And on the women's side, well, don't forget, Monica Seles returns to the site of her last major championship victory. That was in 1993. Deep over the middle, Marvin Harrison inside the 20, and he'll be tackled at the 19 as Dante Dowers of Alcorn and Clint Kubayama of Hawaii combine on the tackle.
Yeah, unfortunately, this one is going to come back because it was a really obvious holding that time to the backside, and that time Keno Hills from Southwest Louisiana was forced to have a takedown, or that ball wouldn't have been completed.
And Keno's one of those youngsters out of Southwest Louisiana. Very good player, but he's one I was referring to that, you know, he may not have seen the competition where the defensive ends come up the field quite as strong and as quick as what he's seen here today.
And he did. And you know what I liked on the field is he knew he made the play, pointed to himself, and he said, you know, hey, it was either, you know, I had to grab him or he was by me. You know,
got to get my quarterback
right. Got it. But, you know, Marvin Harrison just showed you right there what he can do. They call that a skinny post. And you try to run it just inside the free safety, maybe an angle where you can go deep, and then the quarterback has to have the arm. And a lot of it showed you he has the arm to get that ball about 20 yards downfield.
Well, the fun thing about watching Harrison, he is so smooth on his routes. They're going to go to him again, right over the middle, has it at the 45, and now he turns on the burners, has an extra 15, and now 20, and goes out of bounds just shy of the 20-yard line. And Gary, he just makes it look very easy.
As like I said, a great athlete. And the move I want you to watch is just after he catches the ball. Watch how calm he is. This is against the zone. But when he catches, he's aware. Boom, dodge that first guy right there. Marcus Coleman, good football player. When you're aware of where other players are on the football field, that, you know, that takes you out of those big hits if you're a receiver, and that's why he's going to last a long time.
You could see Kubayama, he thought he had allowed for the angle, and all of a sudden he just got past.
Well, Kubayama has played, you know, he played big-time football. He was at Boston College and came here as a transfer. I think Marvin Harrison just runs so smoothly. You called it, and then the play when it happened, you just run a lot faster than you think.
That was 38 yards on that play as Milanovic goes for the end zone. He's got a man there, and it's knocked away. Pass just a little bit late for Jermaine Lewis, and Jermaine is saying, oh man, I was open.
You're being very kind on that one, Ron, because he was a lot late for that one. And a quarterback a little bit late might be 1/10 of a second. I thought he was maybe a full half second late on that throw, and there was no way that ball should have been picked off.
Scott looking to have another good game here. Gary was the MVP of the Blue-Gray game played on Christmas Day.
You know, it's a guy that ran a run-and-shoot offense, and a lot of people have a lot of questions about run-and-shoot quarterbacks coming into the NFL, and that's what Scott has to do, is show that he can survive in this type of game, and then he gets the teaching and the coaching later.
Pitch back. Winslow Oliver gets some pretty rude treatment at the 20th as Zach Thomas is here.
That was a Red Raider double team that time. Marcus Coleman turned it in, and Zach Thomas made the play.
You know, well, coming up at halftime, the New Dodge halftime report. American Football Coaches Association Coaches of the Year, Sports Center update, and Mel's post-season report. All coming up here in just a minute on the New Dodge halftime report. You know, I'd like for us to get a shot. You talk about Marcus Coleman, number 12 of Texas Tech, and it was a Red Raider double team. How good an athlete is this young man here? Because he's 6'2", he's over 200 pounds. And Gary, he's a triple jumper and very good in track and field. I always thought triple jumpers were like 165, maybe 170 max. Shows his athletic ability.
And no doubt, he jumped over 50 feet triple jump. You have to have the speed and the jumping ability to do that. And from being around Southwest Conference football, he basically played a linebacker position for that defense. They played an ant-man front, so he was taking on tight ends and tackles his whole career. I really think he has the ability to play and be a force at the next level. He's going to be a big, type, strong safety, and he's got a great nose for the ball.
Well, I think he has been told, I asked him what they're projecting him, and he's looking at a possible first-round pick.
Oh, well, I wouldn't blame anybody for taking it. I think he'd be late in the first round. We'll have Mel's getting ready for halftime. We'll have to get his opinion of it. He probably knows more than both of us what the scouts are saying, but I wouldn't mind having him on my football team.
Yep. Always seems to be around the football, right place at the right time.
Well, let's see if they might go back to Marvin Harrison again.
He's trying to get another 7 on the board, and that's who they go to, Gary. You called it perfectly. Dante Bowers trying to make the cover on the play, but the youngster out of Alcorn had a little more than he could say grace over on that play with Marvin Harrison.
And a perfect throw this time from Milanovic. He guns it. That ball it was like a clothesline out there. It never went high. And when Harrison turned around this time, the ball was there. That ball was halfway when he turned it and very smoothly goes up, catches the ball like no big deal.
We talked about Keno Hills just a minute ago, and he pointed at himself because he got the holding call. That time, he did an outstanding job on Upshaw, keeping him away from his quarterback.
Well, the thing I like about Mike Gottfried, he understands where the problems are, and he changes up the pass protection. A quick pick, a 3-step drop, a 5-step drop, a 7-step drop, a play-action pass. He knows how to help his offensive lineman.
Marvin Harrison now 4 catches, 64 yards, and they go with the quick draw in Golia down to the 7-yard line. As Zach Thomas out of Texas Tech comes up to make the hit.
Just reads it. Zach Thomas could get off the airplane and play this game. He just reads it. Actually was a quick trap right up the middle. He just saw that lineman cross in front of him and hit it full speed.
Now timeout has been called. I'm not sure.
Well, they went a no huddle that time from the East and caught the West a bit off balance, and that was a good timeout for the West.
So we're going to open Mike Gottfried's microphone and see what they're talking about down on the sideline.
Mike's whispering, I guess.
They're kind of wild. We might have to throw a slant.
Hey, quarterbacks. Now I guarantee the quarterbacks are going to say, "Let's throw the ball, coach."
Quick slant.
Quick slant is what he wants.
They're not really. Somebody crowd in the box. Right?
Come on, Scott. Give me a chance to throw the ball. Don't turn it down.
Okay, let's go with the left. We're going to go with the left quick 202 now.
202, that is a slant. The 2 passes, a 3-step slant in. Both wide receivers.
Yep.
You see Mike, he's looking at the clock to decide if he wants to call a timeout afterwards.
If they get bumped around, you're going to go play? No, oh, he'll get underneath. Okay, we make the catch, and we're inside the 5. We're going to have to take a timeout. Let's score on this thing. Okay, left quick 202. Protect the ball.
You can tell a good offensive coordinator, you always think ahead to the next play. You assume it's going to work, and you assume the worst. You assume that he's going to catch it and not score, so you tell your quarterback and go over it.
Well, Lee it looked as though anticipating the worst also.
Right, now you got a quick slant, and then watch out for Marcus Coleman here. See, Scott did not like the call. You could tell he wanted to run the fade. He wanted to run anything but the slant. Just wasn't comfortable with it. Mike tried to force it into him as the call to be, and Scott just threw the ball and gave up on the play too quickly.
Left firm, X and Z shallow cross.
X and Z shallow cross means the 2 wide receivers, the X back, it'll be Freddie Scott and Marvin, whoever the X receiver is, will cross and try to pick for each other coming across the field. Let's see if they can bump off their guys as they cross the field. Now, this one depends on a lot of protection. You're going to hold the ball a little bit longer.
22 seconds until halftime. Cy Tucker was the closest man to the football.
Yeah, and the linebacker this time took the play away. LaCurtis Jones from Baylor, the inside linebacker. And that's exactly what Marvin Harrison's going to see. When you run those shallow crossing routes, you better thread your way and keep your eyes up because LaCurtis Jones, left side of your screen, hello. puts the shoulder into him that time, and Harrison, the key guy that they were trying to pick for, catches a rib right in the, catches an elbow right in the rib, and they're going to have to go for the field goal.
Voskerichian will attempt this field goal of 24 yards. And the youngster from Colorado nails it. And will hold it right here as they're attending to Marvin Harrison across the way. And Gary's exactly right. Shoulder and elbow, just a normal reaction as he was crossing the field, and LaCurtis Jones got him in the midsection.
Well, what happened is they tried to keep a back end to help, and when you keep a back end to help on those defensive ends, what happens is the linebacker who was covering the back frees up, and he just looks to hit anything that crosses his face, and that was really took the play away. Good drive, though. Milanovic had a couple of nice throws and got the team down the field, and Harrison showed why everybody believes he's going to be one of the top 5 receivers taken in a very strong receiver draft.
Hey, Ma, what's going on?
All your favorite Sports Center personalities get to go to the Super Bowl beginning tomorrow through January the 29th. Chris Berman and Dan Patrick, along with Joe Theismann, Tom Jackson, Sterling Sharp, and others will interview and have features surrounding stories of the Super Bowl. Sports Center Super Bowl special on ESPN. Some of the halftime performers getting ready to get geared up here with always a very colorful show at the Hula Bowl.
That's Chris and Mel, or what is that? Getting ready.
And return comes back out to the 34-yard line. Ernie Conwell of Washington picked it up, one of the short men. I know that Mike Gottfried has probably been overlooking and seeing that Harrison is okay, because Mike's already lost a couple of guys to the locker room defensively in that first half. And that is the end of the first half as we see double zeros on the clock, and it is East leading it by a count of 10-0.